All right, everybody, we are right at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm so excited to have everybody who's joining us tonight. We started doing chapter officer training last year, and so I am thrilled that tonight we have 100 participants, and I think that number is going to go up as we kind of get started at just past the half-hour mark. So as I mentioned on the screen, make sure that you update your name so that it reflects what region you're in. So just follow these quick instructions. This slide will come back in a moment. So if you need a second later, you can have that as well. I will go ahead and just test everyone real quick. Go ahead and locate the chat button and then double check that you are muted and then type in the chat box mute. Perfect. Excellent. Thanks, everyone. Yes, so please use the chat throughout the presentation today if you have a question. We're going to be keeping our eyes on that. And whenever we have a moment, we'll be pulling those questions out into the discussion. We have a really great presentation for y'all tonight. So let's get started. So welcome to the 2021 Chapter Officers Training for NCPA Student Affairs. So we are the voice of community pharmacists. We have a heart for independent community pharmacies, and we want to encourage students to pursue that as a career. So a couple of numbers to kind of share with you our vision. So we've got more than 21,000 independent community pharmacies in this country, and they represent $75.8 billion in the healthcare marketplace and employ more than 150,000 people. So joining me tonight, we have our entire slate of SLC representatives, but these four individuals are our Student Leadership Council officers. So we have Jason Lamb, our president, Brianne Cruz, our secretary, Madeline Clark, our president-elect, and Jackson Beach, our secretary-elect. So joining us as NCPA staff, we have myself, Carly Traylor. I'm the Director of Strategic Initiatives and Student Affairs, and Jessica Satterfield, who is our NCPA Executive Resident. All right, so we have a quick poll question. Let's see. Oh, hold on real quick. We're going to use the chat for this poll question. So go ahead and type in the chat. Are you a chapter president? Are you a chapter officer? Are you a faculty advisor? Awesome. So I'm seeing lots of chapter presidents, lots of faculty advisors. Excellent. So keep putting your responses in. We'll go ahead to the next slide. Okay, so this one is, what region are you? So I mentioned earlier, if you were here for that first slide, we wanted you to update your region on your name. So we're gonna have a slide for that in just a moment, but go ahead in the chat and put in what region you're from. Excellent. All right, keep putting those in and we'll go ahead to the next slide. All right, so I'm going to pass the mic over to Bree, and she's going to talk you through this slide real quick.
Hey guys, I'm Bree. Like she said, I'm the secretary-elect for SLC, or secretary, goodness. We just switched over. So basically, if you're just joining us, or if you're having trouble with this before, you just click the participants in the bottom corner there. Run your cursor over your name. You should see a button that says more. Click rename yourself, and then you can type your region number and then your name, and that'll let us know what region you're in. So later when we go out into breakout rooms, we can help you get settled where you need to be. If you have any problems, go ahead and message me directly, and I can try to see how to fix that on my end.
All right, we'll go ahead to the next slide. So I'm going to pass the mic over to Jason to share his presidential vision.
Thank you, Carly. Good evening, everyone. So for this year, I have some goals that I would like for us to accomplish. And it really starts off with building a stronger rapport between the chapter and nationals and Student Leadership Council. I want the chapters to know that us at Student Leadership Council are there for you. And if you guys need any help whatsoever, don't be afraid to reach out to us. And with having a strong rapport, that comes with helping chapters establish their own social media outlet and growing our communication in the digital world, because I believe social media is going to be the future, or it is now and is the future. And so, we want to be able to reach the non-members of NCPA and just tell them what a great organization that we are. Another goal that I have is having over 100 chapters submitting their end of the year report. I want to be able to see what you guys have accomplished throughout this year, because I'm sure you guys are going to do a lot of great things, and we want to see that report coming in June. Another goal for me to have, or that we have, is having the best annual convention. And if you guys don't know, the annual convention is on October 9th through 12th. And so if you haven't registered for that, make sure you do, because we have some great programming and you guys will definitely love what we're going to put out there. So make sure you guys sign up for that. And moving on from presidential vision to what we are as SLC. So if you guys don't know what Student Leadership Council is, it comprised of 16 student members who serve a 2-year term. And later today, whenever we have our breakout session, our SLC members will be leading those sessions. And so you guys will get to see who your regional members, SLC members are, and who you will be able to contact if you have any questions. We represent the student pharmacists members of the association. We definitely promote community-based pharmacy practice and independent pharmacy ownership. We ensure the effective communication between NCPA student chapters and the NCPA Department of Student Affairs. And of course, we support the development of future leaders in community pharmacy by recognizing and encouraging student pharmacists who have a strong interest in entrepreneurship and independent pharmacy. So that's what Student Leadership Council is. So here's the agenda for tonight. We're going to hit some reporting and paperwork, some communication, some academia, CPSN transformation, or ACT, pharmacy collaborative, SLC regional representatives, and the closing. So reporting and paperwork. So we have a poll. Go ahead.
So I apologize for the technical difficulties on 2 fronts. So the poll questions are not loading, even though they were working before the call. So I apologize for that. So we'll keep using the chat. The second thing is we have reached our cap. So we are working to see if we can increase that. I saw someone in the chat so that you can dial in still, even if you can't join as a video. This is being recorded. So if you have a faculty advisor or a chapter officer who's not able to join, we will have this recorded and this material will be sent out later this week. So don't worry. I just wanted to ask this question for our chapter presidents on the call. Could you, if I asked you right now to find your executed affiliation agreement, could you find it and be able to pull it up on your computer? And so just use the chat for yes, no, or what's an affiliation agreement? Okay, I like that. Someone said, oh, what? Awesome. All right, go ahead to our next page. So here we're going to review some of our chapter documents. So your affiliation agreement is the agreement that you have between the school and the organization that establishes you as a chapter. So more than likely, your chapter has been in existence for years. And so this is way before your time, but you still need to know where that affiliation agreement is. So what we've done, because as Jason shared in his presidential vision, we want to hear more from our chapters about what you're succeeding at and what you're enjoying in your local chapters. Part of submitting your mid-year and end-of-year reports, which we'll go over later, is you're sending in your affiliation agreement. So we are having all of our chapters re-sign our agreement. gone ahead and we're moving it to an electronic format, so it makes it easier for you. So whenever you're submitting your mid-year reports this year, you will have your affiliation agreement and you'll know where it is. And then each time you submit your mid-year or end of year, you'll know where that affiliation agreement is. The next thing is your bylaws. So these are, we have like a standard set. So this is a part of, it's like an exhibit for the affiliation agreement. And so it kind of outlines what's expected of your chapter. So we have boilerplate information. So that's going to be available to you to update as well. But then we're also offering you the opportunity, if you wanted to customize yours, we'll have a Word version so you can do track changes and send it to us for approval. And then finally, our chapter operations manual. I'm so thrilled. So I meant to mention this when I introduced her earlier, but Madeline Clark, who is our president-elect for Student Leadership Council, is also our summer intern. And this has been one of her projects that she's really done a wonderful job with. So our chapter operations manual is available online. A little bit later, we're going to go over the website, but it was about 80 pages. And so Madeline did a big overhaul and helped to condense it just to the most important information, including a lot of hyperlinks so that you can be directed to supplemental information. So these are your big chapter documents that you want to make sure that you know where to put your hands on. So affiliation agreement, bylaws, and then the chapter operations manual. So we're still finalizing these three, but your affiliation agreement, all chapters will re-sign it. So you'll be getting an email from Student Affairs letting you know about that. And we'll go through that process so that by the time we do our mid-year reports in December, January, you will be able to answer the question, where's your affiliation agreement? All right, go ahead to the next slide. Okay, so next, so something that the affiliation agreement covers is the proper use of our logo. So we did develop a specific logo for student chapters. And so this is what we want you to use. So if you're making a t-shirt or if you have it on your website, any use, we want you to use the NCPA student chapter. We don't want you to use the NCPA National Community Pharmacists Association logo. So we avoid using that and just use the NCPA student chapter. Now, if you don't know where that is, just simply reach out to studentaffairs@ncpa.org. We'll have that email flash up at the end, and we can get you a copy of that. That's, like I said, that's an exhibit with your affiliation agreement. So we don't post that publicly, but we do send you a high-res JPEG that you can use for your websites and such. So I do have an example. Go ahead to the next slide. So in addition to making sure that you're using the student chapter logo, you don't want to do this where you just list the National Community Pharmacists Association. You do want to use that student chapter logo so that it's as specific as possible. All right, go ahead to the next one. Okay, so next. So this is something that's also included in the affiliation agreement. So it's no surprise if you've never seen it, if you're not aware of this. But in order to maintain your charter at your university, you need to have 16 or more national dues paying members. So this is really important and comes into play with some of our bigger organizations, bigger projects that we have, awards and such. We want to make sure that you have those higher numbers. And at a minimum, your full executive board members should all be national dues paying members, because we do encourage our local chapters to have local dues, because that helps to support some of the activities that are happening at your college. But we also want to encourage your members to join nationally as well, so that they can get some of those benefits. And we'll keep kind of describing some of those in the next couple of slides. So right here, I outline where for a student going to a pharmacy school, the membership is $50 a year, but we do have some multi-year membership options. So we have 2-year, 3-year, and 4-year. So if you bought that 4-year membership when you were a first year in pharmacy school, your last year would technically be $5. So what we've done is we use our JOT form in order to collect this information. So I've included it as a link. So as I mentioned, this is going to be recorded. These slides are also going to be made available. But we've gone a little QR code crazy. So you can actually scan this QR code while it's up and it will take you straight to our JOT form. Next, I want to talk about grad court orders. So this again, the order forms can be found on our website under chapter resources. We have made this update. So if you've done grad cords in the past, I want to emphasize this, is that we're having a cutoff at February 28th. The reason for this is that we want to have enough time to go through the orders and get them mailed out well in advance of graduation. So you'll know who's going to be graduating in February. So if you submitted it after that, we cannot guarantee that you would get your cords in time for graduation. We definitely had some schools that reached out to us days before the graduation ceremony asking for cords, and we were not able to help them get that. So we want those orders as soon as possible. So February 28th is the cutoff. So this is just an excerpt from that online form, and it's saying any student pharmacist who wishes to be eligible must meet these criteria. So the first and foremost is they have to be a national student member. They can't just be a local chapter member, and they have to have been a member for at least half the time that they were enrolled, and that's leading up to the time of graduation. And your membership will be verified. So like if you send us a grad cord order for 10 cords, but you've only got 2 national members who are graduating, we're going to reach out to you and try and get some clarification with that. They also need to be active in the local level and then have attended some type of national meeting or a larger number of local meetings. All right, go ahead to the next slide. Okay, and then we have some really cool news. I'm going to switch it over to Bree.
Awesome. So really cool news. Carly's been working really hard on getting these membership kits up and running. So they're officially ready to go. So what's included in these membership kits? You can see there's a picture of just some NCPA swag. We're really excited to be able to send these to chapters. So all you have to do is have your chapter president scan the QR code or click the link. And these will be posted later on, so you can access it later if you're not able to go through it right now, or if your chapter president wasn't able to make it. But it'll take you to a form, and all you have to do is fill out your school's information, your president's information, and who it'll go to, and we'll go ahead and mail them out to you guys. You can use these for trying to get more members to join NCPA, as an incentive to join as a national member. You can use them for all sorts of different things, but we're really excited to be able to send these out to you guys and have you guys get a little bit of NCPA swag for the first time. So.
Yes, and I remember showing Madeline the travel bag. So if you want to go back real quick, Jason. So that gray bag is actually like a little toiletry bag. And so Madeline was like, we've got to sell these in the bookshop. So that might be coming in the future. But these are really nice little pieces of swag that is meant to help support that local chapter and encourage your members to join. So thank you, Bree, for sharing that. And a big thank you to our resident Jess and Lisa Schwartz, who's our senior director of professional affairs at NCPA. They worked really hard getting those kits together. As you can see from the picture, that was a lot of stuff to put into one bag. But we're really looking forward to getting these out there. So definitely we've got at least one membership kit per chapter. So make sure that your chapter president gets this link and sends it in so that you can claim your chapter's membership kit. All right, we can go ahead to the next slide. Okay, so mid-year and end of the year report. You heard me talk about this with the affiliation agreement and the chapter documents page. So these are due in January and June respectively, and we're doing these online. So I believe this is our second or third year that we're using AwardForce, and it just makes it so much easier than y'all doing it via email. You get your feedback much more fast this way. And so we're currently updating this. So I mentioned that Madeline was working hard on your operations manual. She's also working really hard on the mid-year and end of the year report. We want to make it as user-friendly as possible. So at a minimum, you want to make sure that you have your chapter officer roster with updated contact information. And then we want your chapter's executed affiliation agreement, bylaws, and then your chapter roster, which includes your national member ID numbers. And so you'll have that form. So we're signing them. We're kind of setting the clock to 0 and we're signing them all this year. But you'll submit that same affiliation agreement and bylaws each time you do your mid-year and end of the year report. Now, by participating in this, the biggest bonus for participating in your mid-year report is that you get feedback from the Student Leadership Council on ways to improve your report for that final end of the year, which increases your chances for winning chapter of the year or most improved chapter, which will get additional money to your chapter. So definitely something that you want to be focused on. We want to see all of our chapters participate this year. So if you have any questions about that, don't hesitate to reach out to studentaffairs@ncpa.org.
All right. So practice transformation challenge. So this is a new challenge. This award is given to the student chapter that demonstrates excellence throughout the year in promoting pharmacy practice transformation through education and adherence, care planning, and engagement with CPSN USA on the local, state, or national level. So it's either through promotion, can be done through in-person events, print materials, media forms, or such as video, photo, radio, and TV and social media. Chapters are going to be evaluated on the education, implementation, event outcomes, chapter impact, and creativity in collaboration with other healthcare professionals. And so, you really want to focus on this challenge because there is a whopping winning award of $750. So definitely come up with some creative ideas, work with other healthcare professionals, and good luck to everyone on this challenge.
Thanks, Jason. And I just want to point out with the Practice Transformation Challenge, if you are familiar with our legislative challenge or with our Simplify My Meds challenge, this will supersede all of those. So this is our first year that we're promoting those. This is going to be, you'll demonstrate how you met this brief in your end of the year, mid-year and end of the year reports. And so we'll be awarding that for the first time next year at our convention. But if you were familiar with our past challenges, we've kind of retired those challenges and we're just focusing on this one new challenge. All right, and now we've talked about our reporting and documentation. We're going to switch gears real quick and talk about our communication plan. So what we want to do is make sure that you get all the information that you need. So we'll go next couple of slides. We're going to show you some ways to get plugged in. So first and foremost, do you receive the monthly NCPA student newsletter? So yes, no, and y'all have a newsletter? So go ahead and throw that into the chat real quick. So do you receive the monthly NCPA newsletter? All right.
I was just going to let you know, Carly, the polling is actually working now.
Oh, excellent.
I'm able to see it. I don't know if you're able to see it, but it is working now. So
it's not showing up on my screen. So Bree, if it's on yours, you go ahead and have it on your side.
Okay. So it looks like 59% said yes, which is awesome. But 41% did say no, that you don't receive the student newsletter.
All right. Well, let's go ahead. We'll switch over to the next slide. And Jackson Beach, our SLC secretary-elect, will take it away.
Thanks, Carly. Like she said, my name is Jackson Beach, and this evening I'll be showing hopefully the 41% of you that aren't signed up for the student newsletter how to. First of all, how you can keep up to date with the student newsletter. Make sure you log into your NCPA profile at ncpa.org. From there, you're going to enter your primary email address as well as a secondary email address, just in case if your primary email address was your student email, we can still reach you if you're no longer using it. From there, you should begin to receive newsletters from the ncpa.ecommunications@ncpanet.org. And if you run into the problem where you're not receiving the student newsletter, make sure you check your junk mail as well as your spam folder. They can sometimes be found in there. Furthermore, if you run into the problem, if you're running into this problem where you're still not receiving it, you can always view the latest newsletter at the NCPA Student Resources page. And please feel free to email your regional representative. We have no problems receiving emails from y'all or any questions, and we'll get you pointed in the right direction. From there, I'll hand it over to our executive resident, Jess.
Hi, everyone. So like Jess said, my name is Jess Satterfield. I'm the executive resident. It is great to see all of you here. And I'm just going to talk about a couple upcoming events. So the first one is the SLC town halls. We are trying to do those monthly. Of course, there are different ones like today we're doing chapter officer training, and up in January, we will be doing a spring chapter officer training as well. So the next town hall is going to be at September 13th, and that's when we're going to be talking about annual convention, a couple tips and tricks on how to get there, save a little bit of money. I was just in your shoes last year as a student, so I definitely understand where y'all are coming from. Another plug for annual convention, that is October 9th through the 12th. It is in Charlotte, North Carolina. We hope to see everybody there. And we are also doing a residency showcase and a poster symposium there as well. I sent out some instructions to chapter advisors, but we also posted those links on our social media to register for the poster symposium. Just spoiler alert, it is a really good way to get your trip paid for by your university, as some of them do offer scholarships or grants if you show off your research around community pharmacy. So another one that we're doing are residency webinars covering positions like the executive residency here at NCPA. Those will be in October and November. We don't have firm dates on that, but you will be the first to know. We've also got ownership boot camp coming up, virtual fall and spring dates. And then we are planning a live in-person at the University of South Carolina on January 22nd. Further on in the spring, we've got the congressional fly-in, which is going to be April 27th and 28th. And that is here in Alexandria, Virginia. So you do get to spend a little time in the DC area. And it's a really great event as a student because you get to talk to a lot of pharmacists who are really movers and shakers in the industry. We've also got school visits coming up. We are trying to check in with the SLC with all of your schools about once every 2 years. Just so that you can get to know us and we can answer any questions that you might have. The QR code below is your link to register for our annual convention.
Awesome. Thanks, Jess. So development opportunities. This is a super exciting topic, especially for me being on Student Leadership Council. Even with COVID, it has been a dream, and I'm super excited to get to share this with all of you and hopefully kind of spark some interest with these different opportunities that NCPA provides. So first is SLC, which is the Student Leadership Council, as Jason had mentioned earlier. If you have any questions, once again, on any of these, contact your region representative, contact somebody from your school that is a Student Leadership Council representative. Any of those are great options, but just make sure your questions do get answered. So NCPA also does summer internships. So you'll spend about 10 weeks at NCPA headquarters. Currently they're virtual, but they are still happening. So, you know, even with all of the craziness of COVID or anything else, you know, life may throw at us. Just because you may not be able to visit in person, don't let that, you know, steer you away from trying out for these opportunities. So APPE rotation, this is on your 4th year of pharmacy school. And so you can go to NCPA. It's a little more long-term than the summer internship or not the summer internship, the IPPE rotations. But you get to work with NCPA leaders, go to different meetings, and get to work on different projects and kind of see the behind the scenes of what NCPA does for community pharmacy. Next is the executive residency. So this is currently what Jess is doing. And so, you know, if you have any questions, she would be a great resource for you. But it's super great opportunity to just further your leadership interests in the healthcare field. So if you have any other questions on that, don't hesitate to contact one of us or Jess, and we can get your questions answered. Also, NCPA Foundation recognizes tons of students each year for academic achievement and different awards. So they help through scholarships. And so It's a very great opportunity to look into. Don't ever think that, you're not involved enough or that type of thing. It never hurts to apply for all of these opportunities. And this is what can help you get involved at a national level. So.
All right, so now we're going to switch over to the website. So if you guys don't know, we do have a student resource on the NCPA website. So I'm going to stop sharing and then switch over to website. So give me 1 second. All righty. So here's the NCPA website. So what you want to do is go under resources and then student resources. So this is where you have all the good stuff. We have, so as you guys may know, we have the famous business plan competition. Information on the business plan competition can be found here. These were last year's winners or finalists, top 3 finals. You can watch the videos there. And then we have a join here button. So if you want to join, or you should be a part of NCPA member right now, but if you want to tell somebody where to go join NCPA, you can fill this out. And also this will be a guarantee of they will be a national member. And then latest student newsletter. So this, as we mentioned earlier, you would get a newsletter through email, and you can also see the newsletter through social media. So if you want to just check out something real quick, here's the opportunity for that. And then chapter resources. So here are some of the things that you want to check out, especially if you're president. Chapter operations manual, annual update, end of the year report templates, starting a chapter, award nomination, all the good stuff that you need to check out as president. And then we scroll down to advocacy. So here's a quick video on how to monitor legislation. And then, one of the things with advocacy as a student pharmacist is you can get involved in a bunch of different ways. So you can, help out with the fight for RX. If you're interested in the NCPA versus AZAR, interested in PPM resources, or even attend our congressional fly-in, great opportunities to get involved in legislation. And then in connections, so meetings and events, let's just dive into here real quick. So as you guys know, we've probably told you 3 or 4 times tonight, the annual convention, you can learn more here. Won't go through that, but it has all the details about the annual convention, what it entails. There's even the student itinerary for that. And then, as I mentioned, a congressional fly-in. I'm going back. All right. And then, as we mentioned, student town halls, so you can register through here. There's going to be a lot of things that we're going to cover throughout the year during our webinars. So, for example, these are from last year, some of them from last year. So how to get into a student leadership council as a national position. What is congressional fly-in, how to prepare for that, CPSN, and flip the pharmacy. So, these webinars are going to be, there's an abundance of information that you just got to come and check it out, honestly, because it's all good stuff. And it's presented by yours truly, the SLC members. So I think Bree mentioned about scholarships. So, avoid more student loan debt. You can apply for some scholarships there. And there's a lot of scholarships. So definitely take the time to fill it out and see what you can get. And then we have student leadership. So you might be wondering, well, how do I get in contact with my student leadership council representative? So go to meet your student SLC. Oh, wait, hold on, mistake. You just hover over the name and it'll open the email directly to your SLC region member. So in case you are wondering, because that's going to be important if you have any questions for us. And then as Bree mentioned, internships and rotations, that include APPEs, residency. There's so much opportunity, so much knowledge here. just definitely take the time, just go to resources, student resources, and just spend a good 30 minutes and see what's out there, because there's a lot. All right. And then Carly wants to talk about.
Well, yeah, before we head over to America's Pharmacist, just wanted to make a quick point with the student resources is that whenever we post things online, on our social media, we'll say like link in bio. So that link will always take you back here to student resources. So that's where, scroll down just a little bit, Jason. These are our kind of like hot topics right now. So these are the quick links that we want you to be able to see. So if we have a social media post online, we want you to be able to find that link really quickly. So that's why those are there. And then we've got the broader areas underneath it. So something that I really enjoy whenever we have students on rotation is that they do a deep dive with our student resources page to make edits and improvements as we go. So that's something that you would be able to get to be a part of if you were on rotation with us. So that we're constantly trying to add more information to help support you. Some of the resources I was talking about earlier, the updated chapter operations manual and all that kind of stuff will be on our website. So thank you, Jason, for doing that overview. So yeah, so next we want to go to news and click on America's Pharmacist. So this is a huge benefit for our national members is that you get an access to the online magazine. And so I'm really partial to this month's issue for August because it's highlighting a lot of my preceptors from my residency program when I was at Moose Pharmacy. And so here you can catch some videos, you can read any of the articles. And then if you keep scrolling down, what's great is you have the archive from 2021, 2020, and 2019. So you can click and look at any article and see what is going on. So we do a lot of continuing education articles. So if you're like working on a project and you need to learn more about a particular topic, you might be able to find something within our magazine to help supplement that. And you just a couple of clicks and there you go. And you're able to have access online. We are working really hard to create some more student specific articles in there. So every other month we're doing a student blurb that Jess, our resident, is going to be running, but we're also looking to solicit from students to see if they're interested in writing any articles so that you could have an opportunity to get published in our magazine. So really cool. All right, so we'll switch back over to our PowerPoint, and I'm going to pause real quick because we have gotten a couple of really great questions that have come through. So the first one that I saw went back to our membership kits. And so you can send your membership kit to your school, but you want to make sure that you give us the most accurate mailing address possible. So we don't want to send the membership to the school and it kind of get lost throughout there. And so preferably you'd want to send it to maybe your chapter president's home. That might be the easiest way to kind of get that into the right hands. The next question that I saw was from a faculty advisor that was interested in getting the student newsletter. Yes, you absolutely can. We just sign you up like on a voluntary basis. So if you want to send the student affairs at ncpa.org a quick email that says, hey, I'm a faculty advisor, I'd like to get the monthly email, we can get you signed up. And then the last one, I really like this question. So they were saying there are some organizations that will send a voucher for one member of their chapter to attend the convention. So we don't currently have that in place at NCPA, but we do have a chapter officers breakfast. So this is on Saturday morning. I believe it's at 7 or 7:30. And so this is by invitation only. So it's for our chapter officers. So that is a specific session that's designed for you. So you'll get to meet our CEO. I believe our president also has a chance to stop by. So our president of our board and then our SLC members all have a hand in designing that session as well, to kind of get to know you a little bit better and kind of share some best practices. So definitely if you're a chapter officer, you should be considering coming to the convention. Being in Charlotte is so great. There's so many schools that are within driving distance. And we'll talk more about that in our next town hall in September. So be sure to register for that one as well. Okay, so quick poll question. So Bree, you got to let me know if it's working on your screen. Do you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and or LinkedIn? So LinkedIn is brand new. So if you choose LinkedIn, we are super impressed because we just Madeline built that with our communications department just a couple of weeks ago. So Bree, are we able to get that poll started?
Yes, we are. So still kind of fluctuating, but it looks like around 30 follow our Facebook page, around 40 follow our Instagram, and around 13 people follow our LinkedIn. So kudos to the 13 people who follow our LinkedIn.
Excellent. So this is a really great way. If you like, follow us and make sure that you have, like, it pops up on your news feed. That's a really cool way to get some kind of like up-to-date information on what's going on in between newsletters, and not having to go all the way to the website. So I know a series that Madeline is working on right now is Meeting Your SLC. And so we're going to be having some fun trivia kind of going on the next couple of weeks, to help you kind of get to know your SLC representatives a little bit more. So there'll be some trivia and kind of guessing on different fun, interesting facts. So definitely want to head over to those pages. So I'm going to switch it back over. I believe Jason has the next slide.
Alrighty, so go ahead and pull out your phones and your camera on your camera phones, and scan the QR code if you don't follow us yet, and also bonus points, especially like on Facebook and Instagram. You go to triple dot and turn on post notifications. You get super brownie points. But yeah, so as Carly and Bree talked about, we started the social media platforms last year. And so we're trying to grow that, and we're trying to use that as a great way to get information to you guys. So definitely follow us. And especially for like Instagram, we'll follow you back. We'll follow your chapter page back and see what you guys do and all the fun stuff that goes on throughout your year. So definitely give us a follow. I'm gonna leave this on for like 5 more seconds.
Jason, that's a great point, because we definitely want to be able to share what's happening with the local chapters and some fun activities. So as our fall semester starts gearing back up, we definitely want to see what you're doing and share those ideas with other chapters. All right, we are going to switch over to Sophia. So Sophia, you got your mic on?
Yep, good to go.
Excellent. All right, I'm going to pass it over to you.
All right, sounds good. Hi, everybody. Nice to be with you this evening. It's awesome to see so many students and also some faculty jumping on to join this training. So my name is Sophia Herbert, and I'm a pharmacist and fellow at the University of Pittsburgh School of Pharmacy. But today I'm here to talk to you a little bit about something called the Academia CPESN Transformation, or ACT, Pharmacy Collaborative. You may hear it called ACT from your faculty or otherwise your fellow students. So the ACT Pharmacy Collaborative, you can go to the next slide. Basically, it was formed about 2 years and some change ago officially. It launched, and the idea behind it was to bring together colleges and schools of pharmacy and clinically integrated networks of community pharmacies, CPESN networks, really bring them together to share knowledge and to work together, because we know that between the colleges and schools and the CPESN networks, we can accomplish more together than we could without each other. So that was kind of the idea behind it. It's a collaborative that really was started at Pitt Pharmacy with support from the Community Pharmacy Foundation in partnership with CPESN USA and AACP, and additional support from NCPA. And now since then, it's grown to support from other national associations as well, including APHA and ACCP. So really, it's a group effort, and we're up to, at this point, 93 participating colleges and schools of pharmacy, which is pretty awesome. And you can see on here, Unite, Mobilize, and Amplify. Really, the first year of the ACT Pharmacy Collaborative was focused on uniting, bringing people together, having colleges and schools of pharmacy join. The second year was really focused on mobilizing. We had a lot of activities that students in colleges and schools could be involved in. And this third year, we're really focusing on amplifying. So what great work we know is going on out there at colleges and schools in partnership with CPESN networks, and how can we share that out in a broader way? So I do want to share in the chat a link to our website. I'll type it in right now. Okay, And if you all would want to actually join me by going to our website, I want to walk you through just a couple of things. I'll just talk through them verbally. So on our homepage, you can see that there's like a casebook on the front, and there's a little bit of other information. There's a number of schools involved. What I really want to draw your attention to is the ACT Champions tab. This is how you can find out if your college or school has signed up to be a member of the ACT Pharmacy Collaborative. So like I said, we have 93 colleges and schools involved so far, which is phenomenal. So many of you do have representation on ACT from your college or school at this point. And we have what are called ACT Champions, which are basically the key liaison for each participating college or school of pharmacy to all things related to ACT. So you can take a look there. You can see if your school is involved, and you can, if your school isn't on there, reach out to faculty to see if it's something that potentially they would be interested in spearheading to get involved in the collaborative. The way that they would do that is if you go to the Get Involved tab and click How to Join, there's some step-by-step instructions there on how a college or school that is not currently involved in ACT could go ahead and sign up. Oh, hey, check it out. There's the website. And then the ACT Champions tab is where you will find all the participating colleges and schools, including that ACT Champion faculty member who, if you're interested in getting more involved, you can reach out to certainly. And then under Get Involved, How to Join is where new schools can join. You'll also notice under the Get Involved tab a number of different initiatives that we've had over the past couple of years. So currently, I don't think any of the ones listed in there are necessarily active, but you can take a look at what we've done in the past, including the National Day of Service, which some of you may have been involved in yourselves, our Patient Case Challenge, and a couple other things. We are planning on having a really exciting initiative this year that students are able to be involved in. We don't have all the details worked out just yet, so we haven't posted about it on the website yet. But I encourage you to bookmark the site and check back in maybe about a month or so to see what we have in store, because I think it's going to be really exciting. And the focus is going to be on advocacy. And I will say too, I saw the slide about the Practice Transformation Challenge earlier. If you're wanting to work towards that and maybe bolster your report on what you've done at your school and your chapter related to practice transformation, getting involved in things that we have going on as ACT is a really great way to do that. If you're not familiar with CPESN USA, they're a clinically integrated network of primarily independent community pharmacies across the country. And their goal is really to totally transform practice and to work towards payment for patient care services for community pharmacist practitioners. So really exciting stuff. Check back because we'll have more information about specific things that you can do this year to be involved in the collaborative. But if you don't see your school or college on there, I encourage you to reach out to your faculty members. It could be your NCPA chapter advisor or someone else who's involved in community pharmacy practice at your school to let them know about ACT and see if maybe they would want to get involved. And I did want to give a shout out. I did see some faculty advisors on that are involved in ACT. So hello, I think I saw Jessica and Justin. Thanks for joining. If you guys have anything to add about ACT in the chat, feel free. But I think that's pretty much what I wanted to share with you all today. This is one more opportunity for how you all can get involved in what's going on with practice transformation across the country.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sophia. And I should have added with your introduction, Sophia and I technically had the same first day at NCPA. So Sophia started as an APPE student when I started as an associate director in the strategic initiatives department. And so we got to spend a fun 5 weeks getting to know each other. And I'm just so proud of her in her fellowship, what she's doing with ACT. So really excited that she got to play a role tonight in sharing a little bit more about the program.
Yep, absolutely. Thanks so much for having me.
All right, so we're going to switch it over to Madeline Clark. So Madeline is going to introduce our breakout rooms. So Madeline, while you're doing that, I'll go ahead and get them ready.
Perfect. So like Carly said, my name is Madeline Clark. I am the current summer intern. So if you have any questions about that, like Bree mentioned earlier, feel free to email me. I'd love to answer questions. It's been a wonderful almost 10 weeks. I'm almost done. And then So with the breakout rooms, Carly should be opening them. You should see them pop up. I know we're all very used to Zoom. We're going to let you self-select your breakout room. So select your region that you're a part of. You can look at this map if you're not 100% sure which region you're in. And if you, for some reason, can't join your breakout room, let us know. And some of us are going to stay back and help you move over. And if you have not already, please put your region into your name so we can help you move if you haven't already. And then we will have some discussion questions there. And then Carly will bring us back and we'll close out.
Thanks so much, Madeline. And so, so go ahead and you can self-select your rooms. If you're having issues, my fellow co-hosts and I are going to be helping you. So once we get that list down a little bit further, we'll help you move those in. You're going to be meeting with your SLC officers. So SLC officers, besides, I think it's Madeline, Bree, and Jason, y'all go ahead and head into your breakout rooms as well. Excellent. This list is getting smaller and smaller. Good. All right. So we are all coming back together. So Jason, do you want to go ahead and have I think we've just got one slide that says questions on it.
Yes.
But I know you're going to take it away and kind of have us kind of share some of these best practices and struggles that we've been able to go over in these breakout rooms.
Okay. So what we're going to do is junior members, since you guys took notes during the session, I'm going to say a question. I'm going to call your region, and then one of you guys can just summarize what you guys discussed. It can be really short since we only got 11 minutes left. So the first question that you guys talked about in your discussion group was, what are some of your chapter's successful new membership or membership events? So region 1 and region 2, maybe you guys can tell us what you guys discussed about. That would be great.
So for region 1, one big membership thing we touched on was some chapters are able to host the CPR training for like all students, which really kind of gives an insight into NCPA early on, especially since I'm pretty sure every student has to take the CPR training.
We also discussed how they have new member meetings and will host lunch and provide lunch. And they said that is very beneficial and a lot of people will come for that.
Good deal. All right. Question number 2. What is your favorite or most successful fundraising event? Region 3 and region 4.
I know Casey, I'm not sure what school she was from. She discussed how during Halloween and Valentine's Day, they do a candygram or something similar to that, and then write like encouraging notes, which I thought was really cool. And a lot of different, she's from Campbell University, which a lot of schools thought was very unique. And I really liked her idea. And I thought it was like really cool. She shared that with us.
Awesome.
So we talked about in region 4, somebody does huge like sweatshirt blankets with the logo on it. And we also had somebody that talked about doing clinical pearl books, and they like write this book with their faculty, like with faculty that specialize in that area, which is so cool. And your members get to help do that so they can put that on their CV. And then you sell this clinical pearl book that they can use during rotations. And they were from a state that had multiple schools. And so they sold them to like pharmacy schools all over and to all the students. It's like really cool idea, very unique.
Wow. They probably made some bank off of that. All right. Question number 3. Describe some of your favorite annual convention experiences, or what do you hope to learn and gain at annual this year? So I ended up on 4, so 5 and 6.
I'll say I think that our room was a little unique in that we didn't really have a lot of people that went to annual, so we got to share kind of our experiences about how my P1 year annual trip has been my most favorite convention It was in Boston. It's been my most favorite convention all of pharmacy school. And just again, getting that opportunity to network. I was telling them that I ran into some of the students that I met there. I have run into every year since then at other events, other organizations. So it's been a really, really great networking opportunity. But we kind of go back to the fact that everybody talks about pharmacy being a small world, and it is.
Region 5.
So Jess, I think you were in that breakout group. Do you want to share a little bit about annual convention from that discussion?
Yeah, so annual convention, I did attend the Boston convention as well, and I attended San Diego as a student. So there are a lot of opportunities for students. One of the ways that we got more students to go at Iowa was encouraging the travel grants that our university had. That way, I think 4 or 5 students were able to get their trip fully funded. We also had a number of scholarship winners throughout the years. So our biggest group that went was 10 in San Diego, but the travel expenses, that is a big barrier. So looking at deals, a lot, like we paid for our room with points, things like that, but we'll present a little bit more about that in our next town hall.
All right. I do want to add on that. I definitely agree with JT. Like, pharmacy is a small world. You guys see everyone at every convention. I've been to Boston and San Diego and see the same people. So it's fun. It's like you guys see your friends every single year. All right. Last question. As an officer for your NCPA chapter, what are some concerns you may have or challenges you're currently facing? Region 7 and Region 8.
For Region 8, we talked about how it was becoming more of a challenge to recruit members into our local chapters, this being diminishing class sizes with the colleges of pharmacy, or even more of the university's push to more of a clinical versus a community pharmacy setting. And one of the faculty was in our breakout room, Dr. Wong from Western U, and he had some great ideas. He said to inform members on having a backup plan if clinical pharmacy doesn't work, community pharmacy works, and how NCPA is usually the best entrepreneurship track if you're wanting to own your own pharmacy or wanting to go in a community pharmacy field. And then his best idea, I think, was if your university follows students after graduation, have them report that back to the chapter. So like if 50% of recent graduates have gone to the community pharmacy field, report that and show it to your students and incoming P1s that a lot of people are going into this track. So be prepared, start with the end goal in mind, and follow your local NCPA chapter.
Thank you, Ryan. Region 7.
Okay, so we had a little bit of a smaller group, but their main barrier this last year was just COVID, of course, but also with that throwing a wrench and everything, I talked to Lily and Alex, and they're from the same school, and they kind of had this problem of, they didn't get to do really anything last year. And so now being part of the officer team, it's really hard for them to know where to go. And so we just talked about, reaching out to other chapters or reaching out to Noah and I as their, region representatives for ideas from other chapters on what to do or how to make things work or how to come up with ideas that'll reach people or those types of things. But just a really cool connection to make, and just really cool that, with stemming from, annual convention and things like that. I was telling them that they can meet other chapters, other, students, other pharmacists, and that'll help guide them in what they can do with their chapter and how to come up with new ideas. So.
Absolutely. If you guys ever need ideas or have questions, we're always there for you guys as SLC members. I think that wraps up the questions. If you have any other further questions that was not discussed during the breakout groups, you can definitely scan the QR code and submit a formal question, and we'll email you back or get in contact with you. But I think, oh, here we go. How to get in contact. So, Carly, if you want to take over this part.
Sure. I am just really proud of us and the SLC team in general. We have got this down to a science, so we have exactly 60 seconds left of our presentation. This has been fantastic, and I really want to express my gratitude to all of those who joined us tonight. Again, apologize for that cap. So if you have somebody in your chapter who wasn't able to get in, do not worry. We will be sending out the PowerPoint. We'll be sending out the recording. The SLC members are actively trying to contact chapters to set up school visits where they can kind of like touch base with you and your chapter and help you get to know about some upcoming opportunities. I definitely wanted to point out some of the different ways that you can reach out to the organization. First and foremost is our student affairs inbox. So this is probably the best way to get a hold. So if you email me, like you get kind of filtered through all of my email versus like if you email studentaffairs@ncpa.org, like that is just for students. So that's probably the best way to get in touch with us. You can also just email info@ncpa.org. So if that's very general questions, you just want to be super specific or descriptive in the subject line. If you have a question about, say, scholarships, NCPA Foundation is perfect. So that's ncpaf@ncpa.org. And then your region representatives, Jason did a great job of kind of pointing out some of the gems on our website. In particular, we do include the SLC members' email addresses there, so you can email them directly. But like I said, they are actively trying to get in touch with y'all. One of the things that we definitely want to emphasize, like Bree mentioned this earlier, is that, we're recruiting for our next class of SLC members. So be sure to, like, if you're looking at these SLC representatives going, I could do that, definitely keep that in mind. Our applications are going to be open in the next couple of weeks and they'll be due in December. We've got some really cool things planned this year. So I know I was trying to pop in and out of different breakout groups. So if you're looking for some great virtual meetings, you should definitely look into our town halls. That's a great place to kind of come and get ideas that you can bring back to your chapter and encourage your chapter members to be a part of. So with that, we are right at 9 p.m. Eastern. So we'll go ahead and close out the call so that we can end on time. But thank you everyone so much for being a part of this evening. And we will be in touch later in the week.
Bye, everyone.